What's up, everybody? It is Thursday, June 26th. This song is called America. America by Imagine Dragons. It's because in America, we won by losing today, and
they still couldn't get newer any freaking saves.
Could get a shot on goal. My favorite. I just read this on Steve's Facebook. And it's a quote. I don't know where he got it from, but it's, "We advanced like true Americans with a subpar performance and outsourcing the hard work to a foreign country."
I retweeted that. That was a Knicks beat writer, Jared Dubin.
That's epic.
He also had something where, I'm new to this whole soccer thing, but I'm gathering that Michael Bradley is the NBA version of Mario Chalmers.
I did see that one.
I retweeted that too.
Well, I mean, that doesn't surprise me, TBH. So, on the show, we have Davis Maddock and Mr. Total 05. This is the Daily Fantasy MLB show, sponsored by the FantasyElite app, the app that you get in the App Store. Listen, I don't we might have to run all 5 matches with Tommy when he gets back. He says he's like on a bachelor party trip, and Leone's on a bachelor party trip too. Leone's in Chicago, Tommy G is in Miami. Like, what is going on? Like, Tommy said we'll have to do it hour by hour. So it's like a no-win situation for me, because I'm not going to know when to do research for it.
It's on your home turf, though.
And then
it's on your home turf, dude.
And then when I beat him, he's just going to throw up the, yeah, of course you beat me. I was drunk in Miami. Mm-hmm. And this is your home turf.
Yep. Tommy's the king of building storylines, and he's not an idiot. He knows he's doing it.
Oh, yeah.
So he gives himself an out if he loses, and then if he wins, it makes it look more glorious, at least in his own eyes.
Oh yeah, he is the king of creating story. He is like the TMZ of daily fantasy. That is 100% true. So we had golf start today. We had World Cup start today. World Cup on Draft Street, and it actually got a little bit higher than I expected. I think it was 3,700 entries out of 5,000. So it wasn't that much overlay. A lot of trains in there. Tuttle, looks like you're going to cash, and Davis. You know what the cash said to you today?
No, if Marsalis scores a goal, I can cash.
Well, like I said, that's not going to happen. So
I need this origami dude to get into the game.
I don't understand why there's no A, there's no M in that name. It would be closer to, like, if you said Origin, maybe I would buy that.
Origami's cooler though.
That's fair.
If only he was playing on like a Japanese team, then it'd be epic. But
even cooler. Yeah,
it'd be cooler. It'd be more fitting per se and more racist, but
per se.
So last night, for those that you may have missed it, I took Davis Maddox's advice and went Iwakuma, and my Survivor matchup
was not just me. Stop.
And basically, I lost in the Survivor tournament.
You should have got the 3 more points from James Shields.
Garrett Richards was the play last night. So, unfortunately, Kluber was actually the play. But, I mean, really, starting Kluber in our Survivor tournament in Arizona was just not something I was comfortable with, even though I was high on him. So, yeah, basically it's like DB, STL, and one other guy, and then the other 5 guys are 3 or 4 person trains in the FanDuel Survivor tournament. So last night, 56% of the field were on Burnett, and it was all the trains. So you have to think that if 56% were on Burnett, and there were trains, and then you had Cardi's system that had Burnett as number 1. You have to think that the models were just all about Burnett last night. It was just purely a model play. How else do you explain Burnett at 56%, Tuttle?
Miami sucks.
Yeah, that's about it. Marlins. I think it was more. It was just it was an opponent play. I mean, and people are already talking about today how, oh, look how ready heavy the Marlins lineup is. That's what you get. Like that is their lineup. So when you have a right-handed pitcher against a right-handed lineup like that, he's going to have the platoon advantage over 7 of the 9 guys. It was just a play against the Marlins, and it worked out.
So yeah, the good news is that I had $1,400 in my account when I checked it this morning from losing. So that was nice. And Vandy won the College World Series last night. So I tweeted it last night, but if every DFS letdown could be followed by like a 4-figure deposit in your account plus your team like winning a big game, it would make life a whole lot easier. So that was by far the easiest I've had, like a disappointing loss. So congrats to Vandy. That was fun. I was 1 for 3 like I predicted. Tonight, I think are there 10 games? There are 2 early games. I think there might be 10 games later tonight, or 8? 8. Yeah. So, thoughts on tonight? Tonight doesn't feel that much like a degenerate play. Tonight just feels like...
Watch out, you're going to offend people if you say that sort of thing.
Well, no.
You don't want to call it a degenerate slate, otherwise we're going to be offending people.
Tonight is not a Can we just substitute the word risky for a degenerate then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, tonight you actually can get some variation. I mean, you have some pitching options. There's plenty of hitting environments as well out there. So you have plenty of options where it's not going to be, 1v1.
This is my thing, though, is that when the pitchers are so obvious, I kind of hate it because it makes the night more variant. Because everyone's going to have either on FanDuel, probably everyone's going to have Hamels. I bet Hamels is the highest owned, then Wainwright, then probably Willie Peralta, maybe. No, Doug Fister will be after that. So it's going to come down to your hitters tonight, and I honestly don't like nights like that because you could have 800 feet of outs out of your outfield, and like that ruins your night basically if a ball doesn't go over the fence. I like it. I like it when getting your pitcher right means that you have a good chance of cashing.
I think that's site specific though, right? I mean, because you have like how many times have we thought that on FanDuel, and then you play a guy, and even if he's like 70% owned, if he's the top play, like you already have an advantage over the other 30%, and then it's just a matter of beating out 20% for like cash games. So,
well, I'm interested in this. Tuttle just typed in the chat that he thinks Hamels is going to struggle tonight, so I'm sort of interested into why that would be.
It's more so, I just don't think the spot sets up as well for him as people are thinking. I mean, he could very easily go and, pitch a complete game shutout with 8 strikeouts or whatever. I see that in the realm of possibilities. I just think he's more of a risk than people are thinking. So it's not necessarily that I don't think he's a bad play. It's more so that I think people might be overvaluing him.
So you think that the smart play is to force Wainwright into your lineups, basically?
See, and that's where it's tough because I'm not sure. I think it's closer than what people think. I think the decision between the two is closer. I think a lot of people look at it and say Hamels, hands down, going up against the Marlins, put him in your lineup, it's done. It's not a conversation because of the price difference. I think it is a conversation, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it's hard to. Especially on FanDuel, it's really hard to get Wainwright in there. Like he probably is the best pitcher in baseball. I think him and Kershaw probably. Those guys are, no matter who they're against, like you would take Kershaw versus Oakland, so it doesn't really matter who Wainwright is facing, in my opinion. But the dollars to get him into your lineup are just so extreme. On Draft Street, I think it's a night where you take 2 guys and take a closer because there is so much uncertainty. I don't feel good about any of the cheap options. Like, there's not like an 11K guy that I see who could go, 5 innings, 6 Ks, 2 earned runs, something like that, which sounds not great, but that's actually a pretty good line on Draft Street. So I think the way to go on Draft Street tonight is just to take Wainwright, take Hamels, take your closer. I have Mark Melancon in there right now. I'll probably change that. I haven't looked at Vegas since before the World Cup game started.
Well, I think I agree with you there. I think the thing with Draft Street is not necessarily that there's not that one option that's kind of in the lower end. It lacks two options, which is what you would need. Because if you wanted to go 3 starting pitchers, because you're not going to be able to go Wainwright, Hamels, and then a mid-price guy. You're going to have to go Wainwright and then 2 kind of mid to low-price guys. And so I think going one of those guys is risky enough. I mean, if you wanted to go that route, I don't mind a guy. I know you guys are going to hate it. I don't mind a guy like Vance Worley going up against the Mets just because PNC Park's Pitchers Park. Mets offense isn't very good. Worley's not as bad as people think he is.
He was hurt in Minnesota.
Yeah, and I know Ben touched on it in his article. He's had ridiculous control both in the minors and in the majors so far this year. It doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon. So that's something that he's got going for him now that he didn't have going in the past. So Ben, and I agree with Ben, thinks that he projects to be a little better starting pitcher than what most people are giving him credit for.
I love it when you agree with Ben. I love it.
It doesn't happen very often, but I think he is probably one of the lower end options that are in play. Another guy, and this goes against my own bias, it's a guy that I usually hate just for no reason at all. I think Willie Peralta, even though it's in Miller Park, I just saw his Draft Street price at about $14,000. I don't think he's a horrible play.
I like Willie Peralta on DraftKings. He's 7.2 on DraftKings. I don't hate that at all. Colorado's just not as Miller's Park is a hitter's park, but Colorado's just not near as good when they're on the road. They have Blackmon, Dickerson, and Morneau as the left-handers, and then Ryan Wheeler. Like you're not really scared of Ryan Wheeler. Now, obviously, Blackmon, Dickerson, and Morneau are all above league average hitters, but you're not like terribly afraid of any of those guys.
Yeah, I think Wheeler could actually be a value play on FanDuel. You're talking about I was looking at guys how to get Waino in my lineup. You got Wheeler at 2,300. I don't know.
I would rather punt shortstop with Kawasaki than I would punt with Wheeler at third base. I think that there's too much opportunity cost at third base.
I agree. Also, Moises Sierra is 2,200, batting on down in the lineup. Chooch, 2,500 if you want to punt catcher.
Well, the guy that's going to be 100%, or not 100%, 75% owned, that's 2,500 in the outfield on FanDuel is Visiedo.
Yeah.
Batting cleanup tonight, so he'll be really heavily owned.
I'm trying to not play him. He's the worst. His ISO versus left-handed pitching has decreased every year. His ISO versus right-handed pitching, rather. What am I trying to say? Versus left-handed pitching has decreased every year for the last 3 years, and I know that he's one of Leone's least favorite players ever because he obviously ranks super high in any sort of statistical model because he is so good versus left-handed pitching, but he always in hashtag pretty good spots he seems to do terrible. Like literally every single time, and so I've taken on some of Mike Leone's bias versus Visiedo.
Well, here's the thing: I played some all-day games or all-day slates just to kind of get an idea, and this was not knowing that Visiedo was going to be batting cleanup. Let's see if I can find it. I mean, we were looking at 30 to 40% just in 20-person double-ups, which is pretty heavily owned, very heavily owned for a $2,500 guy, and that was not knowing he was going to be batting cleanup. So I think it's one of those situations where he does, although it has been declining, as you point out, he does have the power to hit one out pretty easily against a pitcher like J.A. Happ in a hitter's environment. He's one of those guys that, if you're playing cash game, double-up lineups, you might just want to stick him in as your cheap option because he's going to be 60, 70% owned in those double-ups, and you don't want to lose, a potential home run from a $2,500 guy.
Yeah.
That game is just ridiculous. I mean, this is the first time I think I've seen in the Rogers Center where the line is at 10 or above this season. Maybe maybe I'm missing out. But obviously, it is a hitter's park. But you've got the Blue Jays that are a favorite. But on that White Sox squad, you've got Eaton, who a lot of people rostered last night. Kind of caught me off guard on FanDuel. I know a lot of people or a few people in their Survivor term, but I also saw him. I mean, he was on top of guys that were top of the leaderboard. Loves had him. But Eaton, Viciedo, and Sierra, all guys 2,800 or less that you can get in your lineup if you want some salary cap relief. On the other side, for that Blue Jay squad, you've got Navarro, who's 3K. I know that Tuttle loves him some Navarro.
He was in the best spot out of the options you gave us. I told Dave to play Navarro last night.
You have to back it up.
Over Jan Gomes and Saltalamacchia.
Dude, Jan Gomes 3.7K dong on Draft Street. It didn't end up mattering because I subbed out Brandon Moss and Jose Reyes for Asdrubal Cabrera and Miggy last night, so that was fun.
Yeah, and it's so much better when like someone gives you a piece of advice and doesn't work out when it does, like it wouldn't have mattered. Like if it would have mattered, it'd have been like I would have been like Tuttle, you bastard. But like last night I was like, Tuttle, who do you like more, Jan Gomes or Salty? Both had pretty good games. It's like, oh, for that I don't like either. For that price, I'd go Navarro. But that's happened so much. That's one thing. Like the two things that make you feel really bad in daily fantasy. That you shouldn't really feel bad because the other person solicits it most of the time and you agree to it, but is number one, when you go in together, like staking, and if you go in together and you don't win and the other person does win.
Oh, losing someone else's money in a stake is brutal.
And not just losing someone else's stake, but like, let's say we all went in a 3-person and you guys won, 10,000 and I didn't win anything, and you have to both of you have to give me like 3,300.
You just feel like a leech.
Yeah, you're just like, and you feel like the guy that wins it never like offers it to the guy. It's always the losing guy that has to ask for it. Is like, hey.
Well, Dave knows this is why I hate it's if you get involved with some of these bigger tournaments, you have a lot of these guys like in the qualifiers that will go on some sort of deal. They'll both try to qualify for the same amount of money. They'll put up the same amount of money in, and then they'll split any cashes 50% or any big cashes. And I hate having that pressure on me. I've never really taken anybody up on any of those offers just because I hate the idea of like if I'm going to Vegas, I'm going to win $1 million. I hate the idea of just okay, now I'm going to give you $500,000 of it.
Yeah, every time. I mean, I did that with you, Tuttle, where I took 4th or something in a 250 on Draft Street, and I won $3,000, and I had to send you 2,000 of it. Like that was pretty brutal.
Yeah, it feels.
That's
the thing. It feels bad if you win, and it feels bad if you lose.
Equally,
because you don't like losing people's money.
It was equally brutal because I was staking Davis, and he goes and gets staked by Tuttle, and I said, Davis, if you wanted to get staked, I could have staked you.
Tuttle hit me up on G-Chat 10 minutes before it locked. I was like, okay.
I had a good feeling about Davis that night. What can I say?
I had a good feeling about Davis for NBA, and
I'm really good at basketball. Baseball, I'm out here trying to pay the bills. Basketball is a different story.
So the other thing is when you give someone bad advice, and they both situations you just feel like crap, and you shouldn't. It's like when Drew Dinkmeyer has given me loads of bad advice that has cost me. It's almost to the point where now I ask him and just do the opposite. But
I would never do that with Drew.
No.
I'm more afraid of fading Drew Dinkmeyer's advice than anyone else on this planet.
No, I am too. That's why I hate when I ask for Drew's advice, or if I don't necessarily ask for it, but I'll hear him comment on some guy that goes against me, and I always think Drew's the smartest guy. I got to go with what he says, and then that's the worst is when you have a play that you then swap out of, for somebody else's advice and then your original play goes off. That's the absolute worst.
Yeah, also the worst is when Drew like rejects every offer that I sent him to go in together, except for the Draft Street football tournament that I won $7,500, and that was like the one time that he went in with me, and so he's like 1 for 1. But he did. I do know that Drew is all. He was also at one point approached by someone that won a major event, and he denied it. He denied, and instead of like winning a lot, he won a little. So it goes both ways. But yeah, certainly is interesting from an industry standpoint. That's why I love these Thursday shows. We can talk about industry stuff all day long, and how Drew Dinkmeyer is the worst.
TBH, no one ever really listens to our advice anyways. The entire Insiders DFS show is me saying something that's either not true or outlandish and then defending it for 45 minutes in chat.
There are I think there are people that actually listen to the show and like apply the advice to their lineups. It's the other people that listen to the show so they can pick apart what has been said. It's like they want to get their fill of trolling basically in. It's like they see Davis Maddox.
I thought we were done talking about Drew.
Except Drew doesn't do that. Drew just hits me up on GChat and is like, "Hey, dude, that was the dumbest thing you've ever said."
Oh man, how about Davis not knowing? I don't think Tuttle, you know this, but this is how much like of a play. This is what I realized last week, is that Davis has put in so much time into playing and like learning baseball and daily fantasy baseball. Like he blows me away with some of the stats that he says, and it also blew me away that I caught a shirt and it said basically. It was like the picture of Raleigh Fingers on it, and Drew, I was like, awesome, and Nap was like, oh man, it's a great shirt, and all of a sudden Davis is like, who is that? Like he didn't know who Raleigh Fingers was.
I still really don't. Like you guys explained it to me, and then I was like, what's his FanDuel salary? Like I have no idea.
Just know he had an awesome mustache. Slash still does. That's all you need to know.
All right, let's move on to. I think we covered pitchers basically. Just
well, real quick. I believe the optimal way to go is Hamels on FanDuel. I know that. Yes, the Marlins have a lot of right-handers. Yeah.
Who do you want to spend on tonight? I mean, that's the thing. Who do you want to spend on? Toronto bats.
Jose Abreu and Toronto bats.
Okay. I don't hate it if you're going Toronto.
And this is going to be a little contrarian, but I think the Brewers are actually the best play of the day. They're not going to show up in anybody's model because, especially like on Derek's model, when people go to look at Batman today, they're not going to get any Brewers in like any of the optimal projections because Derek's system doesn't have minor league data in it yet.
All right.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. You still see Carlos Gomez as the number 6 ranked hitter.
Yeah.
On Batman.
Okay, yeah, I just know that I ran Nappy and I didn't get any Brewers in my lineup.
Listen, the thing with Nappy is that you have to manually input some stuff if you really want them in there. Like you've got, and then you run the rest of the projection. Like it's is not something that's just going to. You got to hold its hand a little bit, basically. You gotta use some foreplay with Nappy before it gives you what you want.
My point there is that I think the Brewers are the best stack of the day, and Brewers bats are really expensive everywhere because they just got out of Coors.
Weeks, dog. Ricky Weeks. Batting
Weeks
leadoff.
is a lock, but Aramis Ramirez was really cheap coming back from injury. He's 4.9 on DraftKings. He's 3.6 on FanDuel.
Is that expensive on FanDuel, 3.6?
For a third baseman, yes. Especially if you want to take Reyes tonight. It's just hard to... I just think it's...
3.6 is not expensive for a third baseman or a first baseman.
For a third baseman, it absolutely is. For a first baseman,
this year's a little different with the third base position.
Who's an expensive third baseman you want to take, David?
Josh Donaldson.
Okay, Josh Donaldson, other than when he was just on that absolutely stupid streak, he's floated in between like 3.8 and 4.1 all year. So that's barely more. That's not that much more expensive than Aramis' tag today.
Yeah, Cannon brings up Beltre. That's actually who I played in my all-day lineups.
Yeah, I mean, and
I never play Beltre because I don't do righty. So I very rarely take Beltre.
All right, fair enough. So my stack is going to be the Blue Jays. Davis, you're going a little bit under the radar, is what we like to call it. With the
don't give him.
I don't think it's under the radar.
Well, you don't want me to give him under the radar because then he's gonna like rub it in our faces.
Yeah, don't give him under the radar status on a Brewers stack.
Okay, all right. So would you agree with him then on the Brewers? Vegas loves them.
Why not? Yeah, I mean it's obvious.
Okay, so
I think you'll see more people on the Brewers than you'll see on either Toronto or White Sox.
Really?
I totally disagree with you.
Yeah, I think that
dude, Scott Carroll just sounds like a pitcher who's going to get lit up.
that's what everyone's going off of.
Hashtag analysis.
You won't see it more than the White Sox because I think you'll see a lot of people on both Jose Abreu and Visaito. But I think Toronto and Milwaukee bats are going to be pretty equal. You'll see a lot of Jose Reyes and Hughes.
You're going to see a shit ton of Juan Francisco.
I don't think you'll see that.
It might just be because loyal Fantasy Insiders listener Macho Hombre Sports is in my mentions every single time Juan Francisco ever gets a hit because he gets mad that we don't ever talk about him on the show. So he tweets at me.
We do talk about him though.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do. We talk. We don't talk about Brantley. We talk about Juan Francisco. Absolutely, we do.
Yeah, we don't talk about Mike Brantley ever though. Like I'm pretty sure I've never said his name on this show.
Well, that's your fault, really.
It's Derek's fault.
It's not. You have to guide the show as like a host. When you're hosting, you have to guide the show where you want it to go. It's like you're not understanding today the concept of like having to actually do work yourself. Like you're wanting to take the victim approach. You're a victim of Nappy. You're a victim of Derek Carty on the show. Like you've got to step up and take some.
Okay, seriously, I have a complaint right now about soccer. Kevin Morales has assisted now on 5 goals that just barely missed, according to the Gamecast. So I'm getting tilted.
Well, you shouldn't have used him as a drop kick play.
Let me bring this up real quick. That Ryan Zimmerman will be more owned than Juan Francisco, hands down.
Should he be though? I don't think he should be.
I think the lineup position. Yeah, I do. I think lineup position itself is huge. Difference between the 5th and 7th spot. I think it's really close. I guess it's a coin flip to me, but I think he will be more heavily owned.
Okay, Kyle. Yes, the Nats stack is a good one. The Nats are in a hashtag pretty good spot tonight. Factual.
Kyle loves his natties. Catcher tonight. We've touched on a few of the positions or a few of the plays, but Davis, who you like at catcher?
Avila is the punt play. Like I said, I've been looking to get in some more expensive bats, so I've been using Avila a lot, even though I don't think he's very good.
I agree with that. I think that's the way to go. I think go cheap on catcher. Avila. Again,
you've got Navarro at 500 more.
Not a horrible play, even though he's obviously better against left-handed pitching, but he's still batting 5th at the Rogers Center against Scott Carroll. He's another good punt option at catcher, but I think you want to not spend just because Lucroy is by far and away, I would say, the top option, but he's really, really pricey.
Yeah. I actually have Lucroy in on DraftKings. I don't remember how I was able to get it. Oh, because I took Willie Peralta as my second guy. Yeah, Lucroy, I think if you can get him in, you should, but I don't see enough value options really to justify the opportunity cost there.
It's 4,600 on DraftKings.
He's 4,600 on FanDuel, too.
Jeez. Yeah, that's. I guess the FanDuel tag would be probably more expensive than DraftKings, right?
Yeah, percentage-wise, yeah.
Yeah, that.
Hashtag math.
That's. You bastard. First baseman that we. Oh, if you wanted to punt it on DraftKings, I was just looking, and Nieto. Is that how you say it? Nieto.
Yeah.
2,200. He's really the only.
Patriot.
He's really the only punt play for a catcher on DraftKings tonight.
What's Navarro's on?
Navarro is 3,200, so you have to pay 1,000 more. So
I'd still say that low 3,000 is a punt option on DraftKings.
yeah, I mean I can see that.
Mid price guys are getting a lot harder to find over there.
It just depends if like what you're doing with your pitchers. To be honest, like if you're going Waino and Hamels, like you're not going to be like you've got
You're punting every position.
Yeah, you've got to punt at least two positions under 2.5, 2.4. All right, first base. I'm sorry. Second base.
Well, hold up real quick because you brought up pitching again, and the guy Joe Marino brought up in chat that we didn't talk about that is a good price across the industry, and I think he's a fine play in a pitcher's park would be Mike Leake. He's a guy that we didn't talk about, but I think I could see you running him out there as a second or third starting pitching option.
Okay. I mean Vogelsong. I mean they're not favorited. Vogelsong's actually favored.
That's basically a coin flip.
Yeah, I'm just saying
where the line's at.
His price on DraftKings, both their prices, 7.5 and 7.4. So you'd rather have Leak versus Vogelsong?
Yeah, I would.
Even like is there any hashtag analysis, hashtag math on the day after getting no hit?
Yeah, there is, but it would be like the most unpredictive stats you could ever find. It would be less predictive than BVP.
And the Padres aren't playing today, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
How that would
that's right.
Be helpful.
You're not even the same team. Yeah, rewind. All right, second base.
Ricky Weeks. I really don't see how you get away from him. He's the cheapest. He's like super cheap still on every site.
He's 3.4 on DraftKings. That's not super cheap.
3.4 on DraftKings is very cheap for a good hitter.
It is. Dave's got this like your DraftKings salary in your head is off.
Yeah,
you need to get recalibrated.
Yeah, like after basically 3.7, if you can find anyone who hits in like higher than 7th in the lineup, you're gonna take it pretty much. Like it's bad. That's why I played Jerry Sands the other day, even though he didn't end up being in the lineup.
Another second base option though, Gordon Beckham. He's cheap on DraftKings, 3,800. FanDuel is 3,100. Draft Street. I don't know if I'd play him at. He's borderline playable on Draft Street. He's 6,100. Yeah. And Devo brings up another good second base option, especially on DraftKings where he's 3,800. I think Daniel Murphy is in play tonight, going up against Worley. I still like using Worley as a second or third starting pitcher, preferably a third, but I think Murphy's still an okay option.
Yeah, I agree. Daniel, what's his price right now on FanDuel though? Normally he strikes me as like kind of expensive most of the time. Like
FanDuel, he is 3,100.
Hey Davis,
okay, yeah.
Do you know about our lineups page?
Let me pull it up. I'm trying to.
Yeah, I will say if you have a premium sub, that's what I'm using right now to get salaries, and it
samesies
just like that. It's beautiful. I told the guys today I forget how sexy the lineups page is until I reopen it every day. But it's a good place to, even if you just want to see salaries industry wide. It's a really good place for that.
We also have a merge salaries tool if you want to download the CSV file and.
We do, but it's just not as sexy on your eyes.
It's not, no, but I mean, I guess people could make it sexy if you wanted to add in percentage columns and all that other stuff, if you had the time. Which, to BH, I didn't today. All right, shortstop.
Jose Reyes. He's far and away the top play, and then Ian Desmond would be the guy after him for me.
I'd add I mean, it's going to get boring because we're going to add a lot of guys from the same teams, but Alexi Ramirez batting fifth. He's 3,000 on FanDuel.
He's 3.7 on DraftKings, which is very nice.
Yeah, I think I would play Ramirez over Reyes for that $800 difference on DraftKings.
Yep. Yeah, I really like Ramirez there, and he's also only like 5.3 on Draft Street. I have him. I have Reyes at shortstop and him at my util actually right now, because I think both are in such a hashtag pretty good spot. And then on FanDuel, if you want to punt, Munieri Kawasaki is 2.3, and I don't hate that either, just to get exposure against Carroll.
Sardinez is 2,100 if you're looking for a punt play.
That finally fits your criteria of cheap player, huh?
Yeah.
No, okay, I'll give you super cheap under 4K. No, I'll give you cheap under 4K. Super cheap to me is 2.5 and below. Like that.
Okay, but
It's just they've gotten rid of those guys is the thing.
But Weeks is a really good hitter, so not really good. He's a good hitter, so 3.4 for him is really cheap. 2.1 is a fair salary for Luis Sardinez, who's just awful.
Correct.
You've got guys that are under the 3K threshold. Mets actually have quite a bit. They've got 3. Pirates have 2. Miami has 3. Chicago has... The White Sox have 2. Kind of gives you what Purcell is going up against. 6 through 9 on Texas is 3K or below. So I think that there are some plays around here. Now, what you cannot get typically is one of those super cheap guys in a hitter's ballpark. Like that's when it's difficult. You've got, I mean, sometimes it's just like you're hoping. The thing is, like on DraftKings, is that you can't get negative points, so you're just hoping that they do something. You know, get on base and then score a run and give you 5 points or 4 points.
There's no Stephen Romero's for 1,800 anymore.
DraftKings is an ISO site, though. On DraftKings, you're looking for home runs or steals. Like, you don't need to... Like, you should never take Joey Votto on DraftKings. Like, I guess the 2 days where he was 38 because of injury, that's fine. But, like, don't... Like, you never want to take... You would never take Joey Votto over Jose Abreu on DraftKings, though, basically.
I mean, don't you think there are a few contextual factors in there?
I mean, sure, maybe. Like, it's probably more nuanced than that, but I don't like to talk that way.
Definitive statements for the win.
No, but can we talk about how Joey Votto
FW.
is, like, I think Joey Votto for his career is 0 for 1,000 with runners in scoring position because he just walks every time. With runners in scoring position, you know he's just gonna walk.
Okay, so this is something that like Kyle just brought up. Steals are also very big on DraftKings. They're the same as a double on DraftKings, which is the same for FanDuel. Like, what am I missing when someone says that? I've
Okay, well, there's a correlation between home runs and strikeouts. On FanDuel, that's bad, and on Draft Street, that's bad. But on DraftKings, it's not. You can play guys who are just home run hitters on DraftKings much more easily without having to worry about the negatives.
talking about steals, the valuation of steals. Like, why is a steal on DraftKings more than a steal on FanDuel when people talk about it?
Dink just typed some math in the chat. I don't understand. So, steals are the same as...
I will say... Can we just fast forward to my guaranteed dong of the night and have it be Joey Votto?
Yeah,
Is that an option? Because that's the option I choose.
We've got...
When I see the daily home runs tweet, but it won't be with runners in scoring position. It'll be a solo shot. He can hit just fine with no one on base.
Oh man. All right. 15 minutes left.
We got a question. Favorite shortstop punt on DraftKings? He's currently going with Mercer, so that's 2,800 that we have to work with. I would slide.
Kawasaki's cheaper.
No, he's not.
No, he's
not
35.
DraftKings. He's 700 more.
Yeah.
I'm looking at DraftKings right now. You said he was 38?
Mercer's 28.
Oh, I thought you said 38. Okay.
Mm-mm. No, I'd personally pay up just to get Alexi Ramirez for 3,700, and then try to find a little more value elsewhere. Because I think that's a price you can take advantage of.
All right. Let's go to first and third baseman. Who do you like?
Jose Abreu and Adam Lind at first base, and Juan Francisco because he's both on Draft Day and DraftKings. I'm really targeting power hitters in that game, basically. I think Scott Carroll is really bad, and Happ gives up the long ball.
Tut.
Yeah. Jose Abreu is my top option. Miggy's obviously always the top option, but he's. We went over this yesterday. He really hasn't paid off. His price tag is how inflated it is in the wild. He's 6,000 on DraftKings. There's no way in heck I'm paying that.
Yeah, he went up. So screw that. Like why?
Screw Miggy.
Why would you even do that anymore when you can get V-Mart for cheaper? But he's now priced pretty high. He's 5,000 on DraftKings. So
I took V-Mart last night at first base.
Oh, did you, Davis?
Over Miggy. Yeah, because I...
Tell us about it. That's a cool story.
Yeah, cool story, bro.
All right, well, I was going to talk some strategy maybe, but if you guys just want to be dicks instead, we can do that.
No, you're the one who's like rubbing our faces in. Like I just said, like I understand, like why would you do that when you have a cheaper V-Mart?
I want to hear the strategy.
Okay, yeah, let's hear the strategy.
I think that the opportunity cost with Miggy is too great in general. I just think that... And here's the thing about him. If you look at any sort of projection system, we were talking about this before the show, he's always going to be the number one hitter. Right-handed pitching, left-handed pitching. Very rarely is there going to be a night when someone's projection is so good that they're higher than him. And in the nights where he is in like an amazing spot like he was last night, at best you're going to be pushing with somebody if you take him because a large percentage of your opponents are going to have him. I don't have any of my games from last night pulled up, but what do you guys, either one of you off the top of your head, remember what Miggy was owned last night?
And he was 12 or 15%, and then like 20% on DraftKings, 12 and 15% on FanDuel in the Survivor where I was in.
Well, all right. Well, Kyle said it was about 35% or so on DraftKings.
Yeah, but I mean, you had like it's a little different on DraftKings because he's first base or third base eligible. So if you want, and like last night there was no premier pitching option, so you had money to spend if you wanted to get the top guy from the top stack. So I can understand it a little more than like on a night like tonight where his price is up and all that. But with that being said, I mean, like I just said, why would you go Miggy now when you have Victor Martinez like hitting, as long as their prices are a little bit different? I mean, so yeah. Anyways, we have to get on with it. But I agree. I think we all agree the opportunity cost of Miggy is now too high. It would have been a lot better, like on a site like FanDuel last night, everybody went Chris Davis. It would have been a lot better if Chris Davis just went over like we thought he was going to do with his first three at-bats. Then he got on base the next three. All right. So, any punt plays from the third base position since you hate third base, Davis?
I don't hate third base. I think you just play Aramis Ramirez. That's why I have him on every site.
I'm going to pull a Derek Carty and recommend Matt Dominguez today.
Yeah, Matt Dominguez.
Oh, man. Yep. We definitely were high on Dominguez last night.
Does nothing. Hits a 3-run home run today. Unfortunately.
That was,
him and Anthony Rizzo are the kings of the day after game.
It was extremely, extremely frustrating. All right, outfield.
I mean, I'm taking Chris Davis as my number one overall play, looking at projected points and at value. His prices, he's much cheaper than Braun. He's much cheaper than Gomez. Well, maybe not much cheaper on a couple sides. I bet him and Gomez are close, but I'll be taking him, even though he is hitting sixth. I will be rostering him on every site. Which does not surprise Tuttle because his favorite thing to do is make fun of me for loving.
I love him too. I mean, it's Milwaukee's got his home of the real crush, so we'll just put it like that. I like Chris Davis. It's just you have an infatuation for him, which I mean it's cool. I can dig that. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I like the righty Brewers outfielders. Obviously, anyone basically coming from that White Sox Toronto environment. I do think, as you can kind of see based on the games that we're pointing out, that one of the higher over under the games of the day that might get overlooked is that Detroit Texas game. I think Leonis Martin leading off is an okay option. I think Chu is a decent option.
Yeah, Chu's batting third tonight, which is kind of sexy.
And he's still probably like, I think he's almost a must play for me. I mean, he's obviously been struggling, but it's a hashtag pretty good spot, and he's on Draft Street is borderline must play territory at 5,500 for me. I think you almost just you plug him into your lineup and just move on. But he's got a decent tag everywhere else.
He's not striking out either, which hurts you on DraftKings. Like of course, I say that now he's going to strike out 3 times, but Porcello is not going to strike him out tonight.
Yeah. It's worth mentioning that our boy Derek Carty's model loves Jason Worth tonight, has him as the number 5 overall hitter. As I typed in our team chat earlier, Batman wants to do butt stuff with Jason Worth, basically. I have him in. I'm going to trust Batman with Jason Worth tonight, and when he goes 0 for 4 with 2 Ks, I will be hitting Carty up on G-Chat and asking him why that happened.
Again, Davis, you have to, you've got to do some manual work with this stuff. Like, if you don't feel good about Worth, then don't plug him in. No one's.
Honestly, I have not played Worth once this year, so I haven't even opened his Fangraphs page. I don't know if Jason Worth is even good.
He is good.
He's good against left-handed pitching.
He is good.
He's really. He's got ISO numbers that you would do stuff over. You'd go to the bathroom and give you a minute to do what you need to do.
And I mean, in general,
let me bring it up.
Well, this is a strategy thing, and Derek and I kind of had a disagreement about this earlier, but I really like taking guys who are mediocre versus right-handed pitching and who are really good versus left-handed pitching, because I think it keeps their price low and doesn't, like, their true skills are not priced into their salary, because you would never take Worth, well, maybe you would, but it's very rare that you would take Worth versus a right-handed pitcher, and you would never take Chris Davis versus a right-handed pitcher. But against a lefty, they're, like, elite. Like, Chris Davis is an elite hitter versus left-handed pitching, but he's only 3,600 on FanDuel because he's so bad versus right-handed pitching.
Cannon, and I can confirm this. Get ready. You're going to get blown away from Jason Worth's ISO against left-handed pitching this year. 0.033.
Yeah. Well, and I'll just... Yeah.
His career ISO is mid-230 or mid-200s, though.
That's good. I mean, it's not Chris Davis's 400 ISO versus left-handed pitching for his career, but it's like okay.
He's also working with a sample size that's actually gonna.
Let me love Chris Davis. Let me love him.
Well, I mean, how many at bats do we even have for Chris Davis in his career sample size?
Oh, I don't know. Probably 800.
I just don't know why you're arguing.
Yeah, I don't even think that much.
I don't know why you're arguing about Chris Davis when it's like the same thing with Worth. Like
he's got 116 at bats against left-handed pitching.
Yeah, so super.
Oh, good. Someone said
no way.
Win the big score. You got to be kidding me.
No way.
No, he's down by 0.6.
Ben's in second
Something
place.
Just happened. Oh, he's up. No freaking way.
No way. No way.
What?
Can we tell people about how I made Ben put lineups in last night?
Oh,
I wish I could read the Skype chat that I was like telling him. I said, Ben,
I wish I could get some of Ben's shitty advice back. My lineups suck.
I know. Ben saved the best advice for himself. F you, Ben.
I said, Ben, I don't know why you don't go heavy at this when you have such a big advantage in knowledge. And he's like, because he said, I'm going to play big. I said, how many big score tickets do you have? He said, I mean, I've got 4 that I won. And I was like, that is not going big. Like, go 10, at least double up. And dude, I said,
Ben just won $20,000.
What? That is, I mean, that's big for anybody, but for Natty Slot.
Oh, and he's about to get the win and the clean sheet for his goalie.
and he's going dark. Like, I don't even know if he knows. I don't think he knows. He's gonna wait to get home.
Oh my god!
Because he had to work today, so he's gonna wait to get home to watch the USA game. So I'm gonna have to text one of his coworkers, one of our former college roommates. Oh man, that kind of makes me a little bit sick though, because I told him to put in extra entries and I would just pay him the rest. I told him to double up.
So now you have to pay Ben's entries fees after he just won $20,000.
No. Like I told him that he needs to like just double up and let me pay him via PayPal, and then
Dave would get 45%.
Yeah, I definitely.
but Ben didn't take him up on the offer. $20K all for Ben.
Yeah, but that would have been another what's second place? 12,000.
Yep.
That would have been another 6,000 for him. Oh man, we're no. Oh, I'm so happy for him. I'm really happy for him, but we're never going to hear the end of it.
Nope.
Yeah, it's
never
gonna
ever.
be relentless.
Oh,
the next time I tell Ben that he needs to play more, he's going to be like, "When I play, I just win tournaments."
Yeah, that is crazy. All right, guaranteed dongs.
Joey Votto.
All right, Chris Davis and Jose Abreu. No, Chris Davis and Melky Cabrera.
Joey Votto and Joey Votto.
He's gonna go 0 for 2 with 2 walks on a run scored.
But Jose Abreu is my actual guaranteed dong.
Yep. But Chris Davis is actually mine. Because he's gonna hit one so far.
Hey, I won $50 if anyone cares.
Is it over?
It's over.
And he
it's
won.
Over, and Ben's in first place.
Ben won.
He
won.
He owes me like a dinner or something. He will completely try to play it off like this was his first lineup he put in. I definitely told him to put more lineups in because he said half these guys don't know what they're doing, so it's dead money. I said, okay, well, let's do the math. 34 divided by half. There's going to be 1,700 entries out of 5,000. You need to go hard at it.
The best part is that not only did he screw you, but he also was ragging on me for my Ghanaian love. And he's got 2 Ghana players in his lineup.
I'm going to see if we can call him live to tell him.
Okay. Yeah, try to do it. He just got all the clean sheet added to his defenders and goalie. He ran away with it.
Yep.
5 points right now.
Oh, this is hilarious.
This is amazing.
And he helped us with lineups before the show, and my team couldn't crack 22 points. Worst.
Okay. He just gave me one of our guys just gave me the number for the curb. So where Ben's working.
He's working on a street corner right now.
He's a Sky Cat, by the way. So this is they make really good money if you ever wanted to be a Sky Cat. That's what Bob Voulgaris was too. Harold Bob.
Yep.
Okay. Oh man, I'm so excited to call him. Let's see if we can do this. Tuttle, can you send out a tweet?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so for Team Fantasy Insiders, we have the World Cup champion, we have the mid-season basketball champion, we have Tuttle who qualified for all of the FanDuel seats, or all of the football seats. So that's pretty nice.
Dang it, I'm still...
Curbside Ben.
Ben, this is David Kitchen.
Yes, it's Ben. Hey, buddy.
Do you know what just happened?
I won it, didn't I?
Do you know?
Oh, hey, you there?
Yeah, you're on Insiders TV right now.
Right now, I'm on Insiders
Yeah,
TV.
we are live. Do you know why we are live?
Why?
You just won $20,000!
Boom! Yeah, I just actually just checked my draft tree on my phone, and I've been reloading it, and then somehow I just won the 20K.
$20,000! And you could have had even
Boom.
more if you would have doubled up and let me pay you like I asked to, but whatever. You
Tell
I
Ben
knew I
I'm
had an
mad that
edge
he
in
can't
this
get
thing,
in.
man.
$20,000. How good are you feeling right now?
Last time I checked, I was like 42nd place, so I was like, I didn't even like really pay much attention to it. Did Belgium get a shutout?
Oh, I don't know. We've been on the show, and they
yeah,
just
they got
like,
shut out, and you got the clean sheets.
yeah, you got the clean sheet. So they
okay,
put it.
don't tell me about the U.S. game, okay?
Oh no. I'm not going to tell you, but I mean, I couldn't believe you won when U.S. scored 4 goals today.
I told you I was gonna own World Cup.
I know. No. You told me, and then you only wanted to play 3 or 4 entries last night.
This
So
is my second GPP. What's up?
I know. What's up? I want to hear you
All right,
quit
all
your
right,
job right now.
Y'all go back to the show.
I want to hear you tell your boss that you quit. You just won $20,000.
I'm done with this place.
All right.
No.
Congratulations,
All right,
bud.
man. All right, see you, dude.
All right, later. I cannot believe that.
Did you hear that guy when he was hung up?
What
Did you
Hanging up?
really?
Yeah. Did you really?
is? I mean, it's like, hey, I just won $20,000, and then he like, can I get that bag for you? I mean, that is what he is doing right now. That is unreal. All right, well, good for him. That'll do it for today's Daily Fantasy MLB show, sponsored by FantasyElite, the app that you can get in the App Store. Wow, what an ending to the show. That's awesome. Happy for my boy. That'll do it. We'll see you tomorrow when it'll be just Davis and Dave and the other Dave, because Leone texted me yesterday, Kitchen, you're going to be so mad, but I've got a bachelor party and I've got to get out of Buffalo. So just the 3 Daves and 5 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, so Laffy and I get to be best friends tomorrow. I love that.
Oh. All right. Later, guys.